Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Over the course of the past week or so, we ended up getting a ton of information on the future of Warzone. It wasn't necessarily the most detailed information, but we did end up learning a decent amount about Warzone 2 COD 2022. Today, I want to specifically look at what Warzone 2, as we know it right now, has in store for us, and how, in my opinion, this is going to revitalize and sort of in a way save Warzone as a title because of the way that it's being approached, basically. As we cover it all, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. Really does help the channel grow. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, news, updates, loadouts, tips. You'll find it all right here. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. And also right now and all throughout the weekend, my G Fuel discount code WhosImmortal will actually get you 30% off your entire order. So if you want to grab anything there, now is literally the perfect time to do so. So let's be real here. I don't think it's really a secret. I don't think it's a hot take to say Warzone, as we've seen more and more large updates added to it, hasn't always necessarily increased in quality. You would think that with new content, with new updates, with new changes, the game would become more and more fun and more smooth over time. In many different instances, it was exactly the opposite of that. Looking back at Warzone, obviously, when it first launched with the whole Modern Warfare era, it was smooth, it was fun, there really weren't a ton of major issues, right? And then we got to the Cold War integration, and that started sort of the downward spiral of just constant and frequent issues. Weapons not doing at all what they're supposed to do, attachments being completely broken, glitches galore, all sorts of issues, hacking problems, so on and so forth. The Cold War integration did not go smoothly. Then we got the Vanguard integration, which for the most part, in terms of some technical things like the weapons worked as they should, there weren't nearly as many issues there. There were, however, plenty of other issues with console performance, with different bugs, glitches, things just not functioning as they should. The integrations really have just not been super ideal, you could say. There's been a lot of issues with them. And when I was in this meeting with a handful of the Call of Duty devs and the Raven devs, they came out by saying, yeah, you know, Warzone was initially developed to be just a third mode for Modern Warfare, and not really anything else. It wasn't necessarily intended to run as a giant multi-year title when it was first created, when it was initially implemented. They had no idea it was going to blow up and explode like it did and become so wildly popular. So of course, they had to alter their future plans and say, okay, we got to find a way to get Cold War into here. We got to find a way to get Vanguard into here because this is the hit game. We need to keep supporting it. That initial idea of all these future integrations, according to them, was not the initial plan. It was just supposed to be a third mode, just like Blackout was in Black Ops 4. So they were not prepared to have to adjust the game with all these other different engine upgrades that Cold War had in trying to port over guns and weapons and mechanics and whatnot. So that's sort of part of the reason, I would say, why these integrations have been so wonky. And the devs also went ahead and said, you know, when Modern Warfare was implemented into Warzone, aka when Warzone dropped, the game felt good, felt fresh, felt fun. And then when the Cold War integration happened, the game did not feel like Modern Warfare Call of Duty. The game did also not feel like a Cold War Call of Duty. It just felt weird and kind of awkward. That's coming directly from the devs. They were not really thrilled with how Warzone felt with Cold War, and obviously with Vanguard they were not happy either, as we've discussed previously, with just how broken the game is, and they were not thrilled with the state over the course of pretty much all of season 1. So while Warzone launched and felt like it was very polished and very efficient at being a smooth game, over the course of time, that quality did unfortunately deteriorate despite seeing so many new updates added in. Looking to the future though, Warzone 2 is not going to have these same issues for a handful of different reasons. They are going to be coming in far more prepared here, and this to me is what I would say brings so much hope and also hype to Warzone 2 eventually dropping, whether that be towards the end of this year or early in 2023. Now, as we've discussed in some of our previous videos, in this meeting they told us a handful of details about Warzone 2. None of them were incredibly specific though. They basically just said Warzone 2 and COD 2022, aka Modern Warfare 2, are being built or rebuilt in a sense for Warzone here from the ground up. So while obviously Warzone's been in place throughout the Cold War and the Vanguard integrations, we never saw significant updates there. It was just at least back-end updates, I should say. Obviously there was a ton of content updates, but it was still the same feeling Warzone. It was still the same application that unfortunately is stuck to MW 2019, which is such a huge problem in holding the game back. But with Warzone 2, it's a rebuild. Obviously, it's still going to have the theme of Warzone. It's still going to likely feel and play and look like Warzone, but it's not going to be this same title that we've been playing on for the past 2 years. Also, there's going to be a new engine used, quote unquote new engine used, for Modern Warfare 2022 and Warzone 2, and according to the devs, all the future COD games as well. They're going to be building up off of this new engine. Now, is this a fully new engine? Likely not. They say every year that COD's debuting with a new engine in a way, just like Vanguard debuted with a new engine, but in fact, it's the same Modern Warfare 2019 engine with various significant upgrades and adjustments here and there. So regardless of just how new the engine is, the fact that it is specifically being used and shared between COD 2022 and Warzone 2 to be rebuilt from the ground up, but also the future COD titles as well as their back-end engine, that's good news, because it's going to make all the future updates, all the future integrations even more seamless and even more smooth. But more importantly than that, they're going into Warzone 2 actually being prepared. Warzone 1 was just testing the waters. Like I said, they were not intending for this to run as a multi-year thing, but instead as a third mode just for Modern Warfare. They had no idea how big it was going to get and how successful it was going to be, so they did not come in prepared to constantly be adjusting the game with future COD titles that ran on different engines and whatnot. So them going into this fully prepared this time means that when we see future updates into the MW2 year, whenever those end up happening, those should be a lot more smooth. The content, sort of like it did back in MW 2019, should be a lot more seamless between the two games. There really weren't a ton of issues with the content additions of MW and Warzone because they ran on the same engine and they were meant to work together. But on top of that, the integrations for Call of Duty 2023, then COD 2024, whatever other games end up dropping for Call of Duty, should not be these integrations and these updates that actually deteriorate the quality of life in Warzone, but instead enhance it and expand on it even more. And those are the updates that we should have had all throughout Warzone that unfortunately they just weren't prepared for and that we didn't get to see. Hence why Warzone has sort of dwindled in popularity. Obviously, the quality and the gameplay experience has also regressed in multiple different ways because of these updates. So while we're in a tough state now with Warzone, and obviously I think it is going to get better as we approach, COD 2022 and whatnot, and as we see new updates implemented over the course of the next few months, it's going to improve and it's going to get better. But Warzone 2 is going to sort of reignite that hype for Warzone that it really needs right now and sort of, bring back that spark that the game had when it first launched, especially because we got an MW game dropping alongside it, and those two being worked on and built up together, I feel like is going to bring back that OG Warzone feeling in a way that we haven't really experienced since, obviously, 2019 and 2020. So I have pretty high hopes for Warzone 2, despite it being, anywhere from 10 to 15, 16 months down the road. As we get any new information on the situation and the state of the game, of course, we're going to be covering them here on the channel, so stick it here for that alongside everything else going on in COD. Make sure you're subscribed with your notifications turned on. And if you enjoyed the video or if you're excited for Warzone 2, let me know by dropping a like on it. Would be seriously appreciated. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WhosImmortal for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products. The links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.